So big discussion today about Apple and whether or not they need to do sort of buckshot strategy a la Netflix, or if they can be more precise in their programming strategy. You seem to think that between the stores and their online assets, whatever they do is going to get a lot of support.
Absolutely. 1.4 million active Apple devices around the world. When you compare that with the 350 million active Amazon consumers, Apple have an immediate opportunity and advantage just in the ability to speak to their existing customer base.
Simon, there's a lot being made about how much content is actually going to be available at launch, and certainly that around the price point. But there is also this idea that you're going to continue to see more content come out over time. Longer term, what do you think Apple's streaming service looks like, and how robust do you think it is in terms of offerings?
It's funny. There's a lot of discussion about the amount of shows that they have at launch. What I think Apple has been very clever about is making themselves the hub for search and discovery. If you have an online video service, it's all about helping people find and consume great content. If they're consuming great content, they won't churn out of the service. And churn is a key metric for these services. Apple is, through their existing platform, they are becoming the home that you go to. Reed Hastings was famous for saying, we want to win that moment of truth when people sit down on the couch at 8 p.m. And I think what we're starting to see is, instead of people going and deciding are they going to watch pay TV, are they going to watch Netflix, are they going to use their Sony PlayStation, now they're going to their Apple device and they're saying, how am I going to search through these services? And Apple has made themselves the de facto home for that.
Simon, what are the chances that Apple can get people to actually pay that $4.99 for orders of magnitude less content than the competitors out there are paying? I mean, I get it. You only need to hook people, each subscriber, on maybe 3 or 4 shows to make it worth it. But when you got so few shows, are they going to be able to curate well enough to do it?
Look, I think they've been very deliberate in the initial selections and the genres that they have gone after. They're popular genres with absolute marquee best-of-breed talent. So I think you've seen with Showtime and HBO, it's only taken a couple of shows each season to really encourage people to maintain their HBO or their Showtime subscription. And I think Apple will absolutely be able to do that with the current lineup that they have in place.
Simon, what do you think, with Apple increasingly getting into the space, what do you think it does to the landscape for content? I mean, it's increasingly crowded, right? If you're a content creator, there's a lot of demand for your product. How do you think this continues to push those prices for content?
Sure. Look, it will continue to push the prices, but what it also does is give content creators this wonderful opportunity to go around and present their show concepts, their film ideas, to a variety of different buyers, and there's different ways that the content will be managed across the different services. Each service has different positives and negatives for why you might want your content to appear on that service. Certainly with Apple, there's incredible marketing support that they can put behind a show. But there's considerations for others as well. You may look at Netflix and say, they give me freedom, perhaps, to go and make the show that I want to make. You might look at others and say, well, I still want to see my show appear on prime time Sunday night HBO. That might be a driver for you. Or it might be more important that your show is released globally. So lots of different motivations, and each producer has different motivations behind why they would want to go with one service over another, if all things being equal.
I was going to ask you, if I'm a showrunner and I'm pitching to various services and I think, all right, creator freedom at Netflix, prestige at HBO, what's going to be the tagline for pitching to Apple?
Look, I think Apple are absolutely going to lean forward in terms of, and I think we've already seen this, in terms of their commitment to best-of-breed content creators and a willingness to lean forward on content budgets and most likely great freedom. We don't know. They haven't done a film release yet, but I suspect there will be an opportunity. If you take your film to Apple, they will have an opportunity to do a theatrical release run, whereas that might be restricted on other services. So I think flexibility, great budgets, and incredible support. And also they have the retail outlets globally. Right. which I think can be hugely important. The foot traffic that they get through the stores, if you think about your ability to promote a new film or TV show through that type of venue, that I think is pretty impressive.